Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad is interesting in the sense that it is obviously, it's a woman's clothing ad. She's wearing women's clothing. I think American Eagle does sell men and women's clothing, but Sydney Sweeney being a woman and wearing women's clothing, I'm assuming that it's trying to sell women's clothing. But it's an ad that's very clearly targeted more to men. It's trying to evoke a sex appeal in Sydney Sweeney that's going to appeal to men, and there's nothing visually appealing in it enough to evoke women to wanting that look. And it does feel kind of like a dated model. That was an advertising model at one point, and I kind of feel like we were getting away from that, and I don't want us to go back to it because it's not a good model. But it's kind of this idea that women's clothing lines or women's clothing brands would pander to a male aesthetic to get women to want to recreate that look because they think that that's what guys want, as opposed to actually advertising to women to appeal to what women would want and what women would want to look like. And I feel like this American Eagle ad is going back to the idea of pandering to men. I mean, Sydney Sweeney is not a female appealing celebrity. They're making her appeal to men, and the ad is clearly trying to kind of like sex her up and stuff to appeal to men, whereas it's women's clothing and you want women to shop in the store. It would make more sense for them to create an ad that would be visually appealing, that would make the clothes look good and interesting and stylish and fashionable so that women would want to buy the clothing. So if their goal was to stir up controversy, which it clearly was and it clearly worked, then, you know, that's what they did. But if their goal was actually to make their clothes look good and evoke a drive in women to look more into their company or their clothes and have interest in them aesthetically, I think the ad failed in that sense.